The first thing I do is make the design in SketchUp. It's free, plenty powerful enough for a weekend warrior like me, and there are hundreds of tutorials online which can help you do just about anything. The best thing about it is that you can try different things without wasting time, energy, or wood. Now what I typically do is I start with a rectangle and just start extruding, and in this general case we are looking at the beginnings of a project that I plan to work on for this, which is a sandpaper storage station. Okay. So you might not be able to see them, but I put score marks here and here. This is 48 inches long. What I want to do is get 10 individual 9x9 pieces out of here. And this is going to be a plenty long enough. I just don't like ripping down things that are 6 feet long by myself, especially something this flimsy, because it's going to jump the blade, and I'm going to put my hand into the blade, and you're going to watch me go to the hospital. Well, the camera ran out of storage, which is fantastic. Means that 2/3 of what I just said, I get to say again. Here we go again, up and down alone. And anybody who just got that reference, Alice Cooper. All right, here's one of the things that I have to watch out for when I'm using really thin stock like this, is if I try and run it through the table saw right now, it's gonna go straight up underneath that rip fence, and that's bad. Now, if it's not obvious, I'm going to be putting some two-sided tape on here and try and lock it in place. I don't have the materials I want, but I've got the materials I've got. So I have this 3/4 piece of MDF, which I'm going to use for the sides and the back. This is not going to give me anything vaguely close to a pretty rack. At some point I may actually spray paint them a little bit to make them more aesthetically pleasing, but probably not. Quite frankly, I want to do other projects, and I'm much more about function than beauty when it comes to shop. Obviously, this one has neither. So I'm going to tear this down. I need 9.5 by 12.5, and then for the back I need one of 13.5 by 12.5. When I was in college, I worked in the scene shop at University of Colorado at Boulder, and my technical director used to say, put exactly as much of your body over the blade as you want it to cut off. And I think about that every time I make a cut. Damn good advice, remember that. I made the last 3 cuts off camera for a technical reason, because technically I didn't feel like setting up the camera again just to cut 3 more things on the table saw. So now I am faced with the reality of I can't find my dado stack. When I was moving things around, I know I saw it. I only have about another hour to get most of this work done, and I really can't afford the time to tear through there. I'm going to set my combo square to 1/4 inch. I'm going to be using the kerf of the table saw as the dado to hold the pieces of laminate that I cut. It needs to be 1/4 inch. They're going to cut it into the top and the bottom, and basically I don't have a depth gauge. I have this, and this will either work or it will not work. and you will get to see it. Here we go. Ta-da! 5 on this side, 5 on that side, and the middle is going to be the slot for my belts. Yes, I'm deviating from the plan. I deviate from the plan a lot for a couple of reasons. For one thing, I'm usually not using the optimal materials and I sometimes have to make things up. For another thing, I look at it and I think, well, I thought it out pretty well on SketchUp, but now it's just not quite right. And this time, I'm going to do it this way. So, my project, my rules. Okay. Ooh. Perfect, perfect. Perfect, perfect. Now, if anything, I'd like it a little bit more snug, but I don't have a thinner bandsaw blade or table saw blade, so this is what we're going to make do with. Now, my final product is going to have a slight bow in it, and I honestly don't know what to do about that. At some point, I'll probably replace the slats. But for the purposes of this project and to move things forward, this is what I'm going to use. Gotta love it, warts and all. What we've got is 10 grooves. I got 10 slats, 10 grooves. Now this middle part's going to be for my belt sander belts. I'm going to put a different grit into each of these. Primarily these will be my discs for my disc sanders. You're going to see in a few minutes how I take care of my sandpaper. So this is done. Now it's all about attaching the pieces together. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to use some of my favorite jigs. I learned these from watching Izzy Swan. If you don't know who Izzy Swan is, shame on you. Go look up Izzy, I-Z-Z-Y, Swan, just like the bird. He's awesome. And he taught me how to make these square bluing jigs. I use them mostly for frames and that sort of thing. But they're also great for boxes and that's essentially what this project is a big box. My camera ran out of storage and I have no memory of how far I got before I ran out of storage. So basically I realized I had these oriented wrong, orient them the right way, and hey, magically it actually looks like it's coming together. So this would be the bottom. This is the side, sorry, bottom side. And again, what you do is you take one of them, just slap it in place. Doesn't matter if it's lined up this way or not. You take the other one, and this one stops this one in the right location. It is awesome. Thank you so much, Izzy. And then you just block that in place with a wedge. And now this one's where it's supposed to be. You unclamp the first one, line these edges up over here, and put the wedge back in, and you're in good shape. Okay, now we are going to take, this is the top, I actually marked it this time. We're going to take our 4 diameter jig. We're going to square up these sides nice and tight. We're going to draw radius that we want to shave off. Okay. Now I was going to use a router on this, but for a simple thing like that, that's a lot of work. And it's not so much the work as it's just too much tool for this job. So we're back to the sander, we're back to the grinder, or the bandsaw, and we're going to clean this up. I'll be right back. This is no different than what I did before. No need to record that. That took all of 1 minute and 30 seconds. That was nice. Okay, I have about 3/4 of a gallon left of tight bond, one. That's what I got in here. And we're going to be using that. First I'm going to get my pilot holes drilled so that it's real easy to screw this in place. I am going to countersink this one. Now it's time, we're going to glue and screw this to the back. I'm going to use tight bond 1 because it's going to be inside, has a good bond strength, and basically I've got almost a gallon of it, half gallon, something like that, and I just want to use it. Here it is. Now you notice the green up on top. That green folder is full of regular pages of sandpaper. The discs, I have regular 5-inch discs, my sanding belts, and at the far end over there, the 8-inch discs. And basically my camera is dying and I am out of time for the weekend, so we're going to call this good and I'm going to edit this together and put it out. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, this is made entirely from recycled materials. In the near future, I'm going to start making actual projects. So thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful day.